Do you remember being thrown into the air as a child? And I believe this to be one of the very actions that led me to addiction. Now, bear with me, okay? No, I'm not saying my dad throwing me in the air made me an addict. However, I have been chasing that same feeling ever since. And I've achieved it through substance abuse. When you drink alcohol and you smoke marijuana, you can find this perfect place where essentially you can kind of feel like you're melting away in space and time. Why is my flesh so reliant on these substances? It's the pursuit of that fall. Now, what's happening in the body and the brain? When it comes to alcohol, it enters the cells quickly and allows a ton of negative ions, more than normal. Your resting rate in your neurons is negative 70 millivolts. When your neurons fire, it's negative 50 millivolts. When you drink alcohol, your resting rate reduces all the way down to negative 80 millivolts, approximately, right? Super difficult for your brain to fire its neurons like normal. And what happens when we use cannabis? Cannabis is supposed to act like some sort of presynaptic terminal. It acts like a voltage, like a gate. So your neuron is supposed to fire. It reaches the end of the neuron, and the neuron is supposed to open. When it opens, calcium's supposed to be attracted into that gap, and then that allows the transmission from the original nerve to go through the calcium into the next place it's firing. So when you introduce cannabis, the neuron will fire, the nerve will fire and not open for the calcium to be attracted or deposit itself. And then let's go ahead and use one more substance. Let's go ahead and let's talk about a stimulant rather than a depressant. And a great example would be caffeine. So caffeine works by keeping more potassium inside the cell. And so the cell remains closer to its firing voltage. So we're seeing this very unusual consistency in my research, that it all has to do with how your brain is firing electrically, how your body is firing. And so I'm here as someone who has pursued this flight his whole life. And I can tell you, in the end, it doesn't really lead to anything. And I'm here pursuing sobriety. Be very conscientious of your choices and do not let the substances take over. Do not let the pursuit of flight take over in your life. I let it take over in mine, and now I'm, trying to rebuild. So learn from me. Don't follow me. And I hope this helps. And if you are struggling with addiction, start with your why. Where is it coming from? Why do you feel like you're addicted? And that's what I did. I tried to get down to my why. And I hope this helps you figure out your why.